Welcome to Love Bytes, the show where we debug romance. Now, I am not a doctor. I am not a psychiatrist.
I am not a patient.
I don't have a degree in sociology or psychology, but what I do have is wealth of experience and a sincere desire to help you. Because sometimes love can get messy. And sometimes, if you're not careful, love bites. Hey everybody, and welcome to Love Bytes with our guest this time, my good friend Lisa. Lisa, how are you doing? Oh no, your internet connection is back.
It's
Okay, it's back.
It's back.
How are you doing, Lisa?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Why don't you introduce yourself to us? Who are you, and what are your qualifications to do this show?
Ooh, I'm Lisa, and I am in love. And I've been in love many times. And what else? I studied a little bit of psychology in school. And I know a lot of people who are in happy relationships.
All right. Sounds like a pretty solid way to go for it. So, why don't we hop right into our first question?
Okay.
It starts off saying, I don't know, but we'll skip that part. I'm 24 years old and I've never had a girlfriend. There's a cute girl in my class, but my social awkwardness keeps me from talking to her. She sits across the room from me. Keep that in mind. Any good icebreakers you could help me with? Thanks. So, 24-year-old guy needs to figure out how to break the ice with a cute girl.
Ooh, classic problem. I would
Mm-hmm.
say to Mr. 24-year-old, sit back before you approach her. Try to observe a few things that you notice about her. Maybe it's a pin on her backpack of a band that she likes, or you might see like on her notebook or a book she's reading. Try to pull from something that you've observed about the way she behaves or the things that she might like and make a comment on that. So it's a little bit more personal than saying, "Hey, I like your blouse today," or something that is generic. Make it personal so that she feels like you're noticing her and that there's some things that are special about her that you'd like to get to know.
It's a pretty good way of putting it. All right.
Yeah.
I would say, you can also use things like school. If you share a class together, you could talk to her about homework, or you could talk to her about the test that's coming up, you know, and then use that as a chance to get to know her a little bit better, or maybe observing some things from there. Um, School is a really good excuse to meet people, I think. You know, you can kind of like, oh yeah, this class is so hard, I don't know what I'm doing, even if you're pulling an A, and then kind of like start somewhere, right?
And remember that when you're in that group setting, there's already trust built because you're a part of the same class or same community. So use that to your advantage. You're already kind of united in that way.
Yeah, yeah. Just be relaxed, approach her casually, do something about school or do something about, common interest, what she's got on her. Yeah. All right, it's pretty good. Let's go on to the second one. So there's this girl who I see relatively infrequently, a few times a year, who I'm attracted to. As time has gone on, we have become closer and closer in the little time we get to spend together. However, I know she's in a pretty terrible relationship now. It sickens me to say it, but her significant other has gone so far as to threaten self-harm if she were to break it off. As a result, anytime she starts to distance herself from this toxic situation, she ends up drawn back in. She doesn't know that I know this. I probably shouldn't. And more than anything, it just pains me to see her in a bad situation. Realistically, we won't ever end up together, so that's not my worry. I would just like to know how you think I should approach the situation. Should I just be a good friend and support her to the best of my ability, or should I say something?
Hmm.
Um, hmm. You want to start?
Did you mention that she threatened self-harm? Is that on?
He did. He threatens
He did.
self-harm if she breaks up with him.
Okay, so the situation is that they have a toxic relationship. He's kind of keeping her in the relationship because he's threatening himself
Mm-hmm.
or threatening to hurt himself, and she would be the cause of that.
Yeah. Well,
So it's kind of out of fear of leaving.
yeah. But you can't you can't stay if someone's being manipulative like that, there's nothing like it's not your fault if they cause harm to themselves. You know, you if you're being drawn in by a manipulative person who's threatening self-harm, you got to get out. It's a terrible situation to be in. But you want to give advice to your friend who's in that situation. So I would have a straight conversation with them. Like don't sit back and be the supportive friend. Be the like, hey, I'm your close friend. You're in a really really bad place. You need to do something about it. I'll help you get out if you need to, but like you know, I would give it straight. I would talk to her about that.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I would also try to have a conversation that's honest. It sounds like this friend or the caller is also doesn't want to admit that he or she know that he knows that what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and that's maybe the first step. Because this girl might not even want to open up to him about such a painful reality that she's in. So it's really touchy to even bring up something like, hey, I know what's going on here and I want to help you out. So, yeah, it's tough. It's hard. I would also say don't sit on the sidelines if you know that this is really, if you want to be a good friend, just don't sit back. Like, tell her what you honestly think. And if she knows she has an ally, maybe she'll be able to get out and
Yeah.
see it differently.
Yeah. Um, hmm. What sort of approach would you take to having that discussion?
That's a good question.
Or perhaps if you were in that situation, how would you prefer a friend approach you?
Hmm.
Uh,
I think for me, I can imagine myself being in a state of denial where although I'm being harmed by in my relationship, I might not want to admit it. You know, I'm
mhm.
pretending like everything's okay. So it would help me to have concrete examples. Like if my friend came up to me and said, "Hey, Lisa, I noticed, that time we were at the coffee shop and, your partner was doing this specific thing. I noticed how upset you were, and I noticed, um, just I noticed all of these things in that certain situation. And then this other time, I remember you talking to me about a situation, giving some concrete examples of why I thought that I was in a bad place would be helpful."
Yeah. Having concrete examples sounds, I think, would be a really good way because then you can't. It's harder to deny and be like, no, 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 everything's fine when
Yeah.
you have a list of like, well, he did this, 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 and this, and then when you tried to break up with him before, he sent you this email that said blah blah blah, and now like having that would be nice.
Hmm.
What other pitfalls might you run into in a situation like this? Like if you're the person could be in denial and you present them with decent evidence. Like what if they say, yes, I know this is terrible, but I would feel guilty if he did something to himself. Like I would feel responsible because I could have prevented it.
Hmm.
How do you help someone in that state of mind?
Well, this is one of those rare situations where it's okay. Like legally, people in professions where they're counselors or they're police officers, although they're supposed to remain confidential in times where people are threatening to self-harm themselves, then they're at liberty. It's almost their responsibility to let other people know who can help them. So maybe understanding that, hey, I might not be able to help my boyfriend, or you might not be able to help this person, but someone else can, and my responsibility here is to let those people know, to connect him to the right resources. And at first it might be really tough. If I were, it might feel like he's been turned over, or that you kind of weren't trusting, or that you what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
You broke trust or something.
Hmm.
But in the long run, if I were the person that needed help, I would be very grateful that someone reached out and helped me.
Yeah. Yeah. You should help your friend. And I know you said in here realistically we won't end up together, so that's not my worry, but there may come a time where like, oh wait, maybe this can, but I mean, I think you should put the friend first. You follow up relationship, maybe potentially like, but friend first, relationship second. I know you already kind of mentioned that, but I just want to reiterate, like when you're dealing with something this serious, you should not put your own agenda before theirs. But I think you already got that, caller.
What if I'm the friend,
Hmm.
and the girlfriend doesn't want to tell anyone. She wants to remain in the relationship. This third person outside of the relationship, I think, is at liberty, or needs to tell someone if it's a
Mm.
serious threat.
Tell a new party. If this guy's actually threatening to hurt himself, you think he should?
Yeah. If there's clear evidence, it might not, yeah, that's
Yeah,
like
I mean,
a different situation than
I,
getting involved within the relationship. It's now, this third party has a responsibility to this boyfriend, although they don't have a relationship. But I, I don't know. That's a tough
yeah,
one.
I mean, I would. Yeah, if she wants to stay in and she doesn't want to get out and she is, not doing that and it's causing problems to herself and it's a really unhealthy situation to be in. I would talk to her family first, then,
Hmm.
or maybe if you have like a mutual close friend, although you guys said I see relatively infrequently, a few times a year.
Hmm.
Um, well, if you know her family and friend or close friends and you're close with them, maybe you can kind of branch out and see if you can't get some help for this if she's not willing to do it on her own or with you, because toxic situations are bad. Just yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
Mm.
then realize, you can't fix every problem. And if you have the intention to help out and it doesn't end up working, or snow, at least you tried. And that's a victory. I think um, yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. All right, let's try and move on. We got next question. Recently, my fiance of 4 years broke up with me. At first, it was totally devastating, obviously. I've come to grips with the fact that we are over, but I'm having a hard time fixing things in my head. I honestly thought she was the one, he says in quotes, and we were meant to be together. I'm having a hard time telling myself I'll find another girl and believing it. How do I move on with this mindset plaguing me? Um, well, they, you know, common wisdom is it takes half the time of the relationship to get over a relationship. That's what they say.
Hmm.
If you say fiance of 4 years, I don't know if you mean you were dating for, have been together for 4 years or engaged for 4 years.
Yeah.
Um, Either way, you know, if it takes some time, it's going to take some time. Don't worry about that. I know it's terrible and sucks when you break up with someone and you have nothing. Like,
Hmm.
you don't have someone else. It's rough as hell. I've been there before. But I don't know. How do you, Lisa, how do you deal with that?
Say one, get out and start doing things, whether it's jogging, whether it's an art class, whether it's, anything. Get out into the world if you're not already, and start doing some self-improvement activities. Like right now, your or this person's self-esteem is probably like the lowest it could ever be. So doing anything you can to build it up, it doesn't need to be in the relationship realm. Like start building it, maybe, build, get yourself stronger, start exercising, feel good in your body, maybe learn a new subject, go to a community college and pick up a course, or, this is an opportunity right now. And although it feels like shit, um, at the same time, it's better that you know now than, 10 years down the line where she's, you know, in another, it could be a really messy breakup and you lost 10 years of your life.
Yeah.
And also trust that if she's not the one for you, then you're not the one for her. And the one for you is
Oh, oh no, your Skype died, or we're having some connection problems here. Oh no. Oh no. Are you there?
I'm
Hello?
there.
Okay. Whew. It cut out when you said, if she's not the one for you, you're not the one for her. And then,
And the one for you is out there. So get out there and find her
yeah, get out
or
there and
him
find it.
or whoever it
Yeah.
is.
I
No big-
really like the idea of going out and doing self improvement because when you're just out of a relationship, the last thing you want to do is hop into a new one. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the rebound stuff is whatever, but like you're not going to find a serious or meaningful relationship if you just broke up with someone that you've been like engaged with, like, and not just broke up with, they broke up with you. Like if
Yeah.
they left you, you're not going
Mm-hmm.
to find anyone right now, dude. Just concentrate on yourself. Once you get back to being happy with yourself, they will, you will find someone in that process. I would say, don't worry about other. Don't worry about a relationship. Don't worry about meeting girls. Don't worry about all that fun stuff. Just like do things for yourself. Now's the time to like, as you said, like go to the gym, like get in good shape, take an art class, do some of these projects, get involved with this other thing, whatever it is that you find yourself enjoying, and do the best to enjoy your single time and to you know make the best out of it personally, because the most attractive thing to another person is the someone who's happy with themselves and who's doing well at something, even if it's just like, oh yeah, this like side project of mine is really fun and I really enjoy it. Like if you're passionate about something, people will like you. It's a nice way to get into things. So I would say spend time working on yourself for a while, and then hopefully people will come. Because I don't know what it is. Anyone who's been most guys who've been in a relationship will know the idea. Like when you're in a relationship, girls will find you more attractive. It's a downright truth. Like if I'm dating someone, I will have girls hitting on me. If I'm single, girls will avoid me like the plague. So you have to get that single stench off of you by like being happy and successful in your own thing. It's true, guys. You know what I'm talking about. As soon as you're in a relationship, it's that like, oh, taken man. This must be worth looking into, and they're everywhere. But when you're single, they're nowhere to be found. So you know what I'm talking about, guys. So get into that self improvement. It's the right thing, I think.
Neil, I love what you said about like the energy that we put out into the world is totally what is attracted back. So when you're in a relationship, girls who want to be in relationships are like coming towards you full force. And when you're single and self-esteem is down and you're awkward and fumbly, like no one wants to talk to that guy. So
Yeah,
I totally agree.
yeah,
Put out positive energy.
yeah, yeah. Positive energy. Be happy with yourself. Then worry
Hmm.
about the girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. I am in university, and a girl I've been assigned to do a project with in a group of 6 interests me. I think we have a chance, but I'm not sure because she has a crazy schedule and she works all weekend, and I don't want to ruin how well our group project is going. Should I ask her out? Do you have any good ideas for a first date? University, group project with someone, want to ask her out, but she's busy. Don't want to ruin your project. Don't want to make the entire rest of the year awkward with this girl in the class.
Mhm.
If you like her, ask her out. Especially if you're in college, that's your time to explore and do new shit. So if you're in college and you like her, I would say ask her out. Don't be a creep about it, but do it. Like that's the time when you're supposed to be doing those things, right? Right? Back me up, Lisa.
Yeah, yeah. So I'd say also be authentic, be honest. Like, hey, I'm so happy that we're in this group together. It's, I've been wanting to get to know you. Start with something small and where she doesn't have to commit. It can be even a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. Anyone can sit down for 30 minutes over a cup of coffee and have a good conversation. Um, but if she doesn't say yes and she's not interested, then don't take it personally. Um, well, that's hard. It's hard to do. Easier said than done. What I would say is, I think that she would appreciate, or let's say, if I was in the situation, I would appreciate the honesty. Like, hey, you're telling me the truth. You're attracted to me and you want to take me out. Like, that's wildly flattering and I appreciate it. And that gives me an opportunity to say, hey, like, although, I feel honored that you would ask me out. I'm actually in I'm in a relationship, or right now I'm not available, or, and it can be clear cut. And this is what I want from our relationship. So whether or not she accepts the date, I would set some boundaries regarding the group project and the dating situation because it could get messy.
Yeah, yeah. But do it. Do it.
But go for it. Yeah.
Second part of the question was, do you have any ideas for a first date? And I think that's pretty subjective. Like that's kind of depends on what you want to do. Like,
Hmm.
what is your idea of a good date? And I know it's tempting to be like, oh, I want to do something that she would enjoy. I want to find out her enjoyments and just do that, even if I hate it. But you should
Hmm.
find something that you would like. Yeah, do something that she'll like too. But don't don't go out and do something that you think she'll like that you don't like. That's a trap that a lot of people fall into. But you have to make yourself happy in addition to her. So ask her
Yeah.
out, do something that you would like and that you think might she might like too.
I would say do something that builds an experience. So, going out for dinner is nice, but all of us go out for dinner. It's not really that special. Maybe see even a free concert in the park, or go ice skating if it's winter. Um, or something where, it's a shared experience, because that's where the good stuff, that's where you can build a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like a good plan. All right. Let's move on to one more before we go. Well, depending on how long this takes. A few years ago, I had a girlfriend that I really loved, but we broke up. It's pretty bad. I got depressed and shit, but eventually I got over it. Good to go know that you got over it. Until now, almost 4 years later, I haven't found anyone who makes me feel like before. Not even close. I think it's because I'm trying to not get hurt again. Like, I'm being super protective about my feelings and not giving myself enough to love again. What should I do? P.S. Sorry if my English is not that good. It's my second language. Hmm. Yeah, being protective about your feelings, not wanting to get yourself hurt again is a rough spot to be in, but you kind of have to get over it. I don't know how to get over it, but you need to. But you already know that. What? How does he get over it? How would he get over that?
I would say appreciate the relationship for what it was. Getting over someone doesn't mean that you don't like them anymore, that they're a bad person. It's just, there's kind of, I would say, develop an appreciation for that time in your life and recognize that now it's a new time and you're a new person. That was, a few years ago. You've had many new experiences. You've grown. You're smarter. You're stronger. Like, there are all these changes that have happened, and you're not the same person anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
um, it's okay to be protective, but it seems like it's not allowing you to fully give yourself and to be open with the new people that you are meeting. So,
I would say start slow. You know, you find someone that you like a little bit
mhm,
and you get together and you start dating. Because you say you haven't found anyone that makes you feel like before, but you haven't said you haven't found anyone. So I presume you've been dating at least a little bit in these last
mhm,
4 years. So in the situation where you're dating, you know, start small, start easy. But then once you get to like, I don't know how long in, after you've been dating maybe 2 months or something, then you can start to open up a little bit more, like just inch by inch, like baby steps, like one thing at a time. Like, oh yeah, here's this thing that I don't really like to talk about anymore, but I'm just going to allude to it. And if she presses and says, "Oh, tell me more," you can be like, "Oh, you know, I don't really want to talk about that sort of thing right now, maybe later." You know, it's okay to tell someone part of a story and be like, "Whoa, I'm not ready to finish that story with you." But you can at least start opening up a little bit, you know, a little here, a little there, a little there, and then eventually you'll find her opening up to you about stuff, and then that'll make you want to open up more, and you kind of got to do that, I think. So it's okay to be protective about your feelings, but you know, a little bit at a time, buddy. A little bit at a time. Baby steps, right?
yeah. Yeah, and remember there's no timeline. It's not, yeah, like Neil's saying, tiny steps on your own time. Like have some compassion for yourself and that you've gone through something that was very challenging and heartbreaking, and that's okay. So,
Mm-hmm.
but it sounds like you have the intention uh, to open yourself up eventually, and I think that's a great step. And to recognize that there's still a lot of pain there. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think so. All right, we can actually squeeze in one more before our break. Here we go. Oop, nope, that won't work. My friend is the only single person left in our group of friends, and she feels self conscious about it. She goes to college online and doesn't work, so she doesn't get a lot of social interaction. I've been trying to help her go out and meet guys, but they always end up hitting on me instead. I'm married, so this attention is counterproductive. I am the more going out and talkative of the two of us. Do you have any advice on how I can help shift attention to her without having to mention my husband every other sentence? I hate being that person. Thanks.
Mm.
Well, good for you for being married and rubbing it in. That's fine. It's fine. Um, how do you go out with a friend? Okay, Lisa, you're going out with a friend, but all the
Mhm.
guys hit on you, and you're like, whoa, 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 I'm taken. Don't hit on me. Hit on my friend. How do you
Mhm.
get guys to hit on your friend instead of you? Or, you know, get your
Well,
friend to hit.
first, I think I would say that it's, this I want to give names to these people. This person obviously cares about her friend and she wants to see that she's happy and with someone. It sounds like this girl also wants to be in a relationship. I suppose that might be my first question. Maybe this girl wants to be single and, well, it says she feels self-conscious about it.
Yeah,
Okay, so she wants somebody.
she wants someone.
Um, I would say draw in, you can draw in the attention of other people. If that's something that I'm good at, then I would, bring people over, but not continue the conversation. Like I might present a question that will allow more conversation to come out between my friend and this potential mate. But I might step back and not talk a lot. I might throw out the questions but not answer them.
Mm,
And and kind of keep an eye on it. So step away, say, "Hey, I'm going to get a drink. You two talk about that." Boom. They're talking. If I see the conversation dying, I might pop in again and say, "Hey, like, did you know that she likes dogs and you like dogs?" or whatever it is.
so
Bring people together.
you would say, so you're saying that it's okay that the guys originally come over to hit on her, but that
Yeah.
once they show up, maybe before they've had a chance to hit on her, she leaves that, like, you know, gives them space or, okay. So that means you're gonna have to
Yeah.
have some, you're gonna have to play wingman. We should really get my brother in here to talk about playing
Exactly.
wingman. But
Wing man, wing woman. That's
yeah.
exactly right.
So how do you wing woman a woman? Well, I think you can play off uh, how easy guys are in such a way. Like if they're given a chance to be alone with a girl, they'll take it. So set your friend up exactly what Lisa said. Like bring someone in and then retreat. But you got to play the wingman card where you actually retreat. Like you have to
Yeah.
actually step away and let them talk.
Later.
You can't just be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm gonna go over here, do this," and then come back 5 minutes later to like hear the story and see how it's going. If you leave the girl alone with the guy, it will go well. Probably, most likely. Guys will be like, "Oh my god, I finally have a chance with the girl." Yes. Remember, the guys are more desperate than you are, much more desperate than you or your friend are. So, sorry, guys. That's. I think Lisa had that right there. I think that's
Yeah, and
exactly
I
how you do
think
it.
going back, if you see the conversation dying down, then it's okay to step in and hey, throw out another question and try to stimulate that conversation again, and then disappear into the dance floor. So, help her out, help them out.
Uh oh.
Sometimes it takes a little bit of help, but
Yeah, yeah. You're back. You're back.
yeah.
Okay. Well, looks like we're getting some new questions and people. Okay, that's about it for now. We're gonna have to go. Well, we're gonna take our halfway break. We'll see you guys in 3 minutes with more Love Bites with Lisa. See you then.
Yay.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Love Bytes Part 2 with Lisa. We're going to hop straight into the next question.
Okay.
Hey, Neil, I feel like the deck is stacked against me. I live in a small town, less than 9,000 people, and I am following my passion for writing novels, short stories, poetry, etc. It has left me short term in a position of not being able to support a significant other. I have medical issues, high anxiety, and a poor back that keep me from most jobs in the area. I recently turned 30 and my interests are within the realm of geekdom anime, video games, role playing games, movie fanatic, reading books, and of course, writing. I'm highly educated, both formal and self taught, yet below average looks. I don't drink, and there's very little to offer socially in this area to meet available women. How can someone with such fringe interests, with little to offer financially, but a lot relationship wise, find someone compatible, let alone available? Or am I simply making excuses? Sincerely, caller. Well, you have a cool job, dude. If your job, like, you say, I'm following my passion for writing, so you're a writer right now. That's first off, that's great. People love people with cool jobs, you know. I think I don't want to, put all girls in a box, but guys with our creative jobs are usually fairly attractive in that sort of way. Like, who cares if your looks are a little below average? Don't worry about that. But you got a cool job. That's a good start. So you just need to find a way to meet girls, and hopefully you can move things on from there. So, how do you meet girls in a town with 9,000 people? Then you don't drink. Move to another town?
No, I have an answer.
You
That's
do?
an Yeah.
How do you do it?
I like this person sounds really awesome and he obviously has many passions. I think you should stop looking at bars or expecting to meet someone worth dating in an area like that. Find someone with the same passions as you. Like, are there, I don't know, like meetup groups that are also interested in um, maybe some of the role playing games that you're into, or maybe like a writing course or a book club. I think that's finding people who match your interests are the best way to go.
Yeah. But in a town with 9,000 people, that's pretty small. You might
It's
not have those sort of like, you might not have a meetup group or you might not have a book club, you know?
Yeah. Start one.
Start what?
That's
Oh, start a book club?
yeah. Yeah. Send out maybe on Craigslist. You can put up an ad and say, "Hey, I'm interested in meeting other people who like playing, these specific games, or whichever this anime specific anime genre. And would you like to watch the game or watch this anime series on these days, or would you like to come and play this game?" And I would say start out just trying to meet other people and then seeing if a lady comes around and maybe maybe she'll find her way into the group.
All right, so you want to set a trap for these girls, is what I'm hearing. You want to set up some sort of like cool group activity. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's actually a good point. If there's no book club in your town, make a book club. If there's no anime group that gets together, join an anime group, or create an anime group. And
Start. Yeah.
like, there's got to be a bookstore in your city, or maybe
Yeah.
a game shop, or something like that. You can use those as starting points to,
Mm-hmm.
because if you've got a library or a bookstore,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna either have a book club or they're gonna want a book club because that'd be great. So then you
Yeah.
can, use that as a great place. I think that's a great. I would not have thought of that. Well
Thanks.
done.
Or you can offer like a writing course maybe for 20, not 28 to, a certain age range of people. I don't know. Or, offer some free classes and some of the things that you are skillful at. And, if you're giving out knowledge, then maybe you'll get something back in return.
Absolutely. Yes. Wow, damn it. You're really good at this. Start a book club, start a poetry club, start teaching writing, start like, oh yeah, here's our little writing thingy. Every week we get together and we read the short stories that we wrote during the week, and then we discuss them. And you might get
Right.
mostly guys, and you might get girls who aren't into you at first, but over time you will. Like, there is no, oh, this action equals girl right away. Like, it might
Right.
take you months, it might take you years, but that's a great way to start. And in the
Hmm.
meantime, you'll be meeting cool people with your similar interests.
Exactly. And they have friends too. So maybe in your club it's all men or people you're not in, women you're not interested in, but they all have friends and those people have friends and
Hmm.
that'll create this whole network of potential friends and girlfriends and boyfriends and that you could start.
Done. Solved.
Done.
Moving on. Nothing more to say.
Yeah.
Okay. Age 21. School, third year university. I've tried your advice, Neil, and have gotten into online dating scene and found it even weirder than waking up and talking to a random girl. Questions. I only seem to want to ask out girls that are out of my league. Fearing rejection, I do my best, yet still fail to do so. Is there something wrong with me? This also has to deal with a high probability that great girls are already taken. Example, see next question. Question number two. This might change with time, but currently the friends who I naturally become friends with either already have boyfriends or I was not interested in. I have not talked to any of them long enough to see if they become single again, moving away, changing my address, etc. Even if one of my friends were single, I think it would still be too scared to ask them out. And then example, slightly irrelevant, but you posted it anyway, so I'm going to read it anyway. In high school, we did a video project with my intention was to get it with this girl in the group. She was already seeing, not seeing. She was already seeing slash not seeing slash not too sure another male in the group. The juicy part, she was laughing about my eyebrows because she ended up tearing off a piece with a fake mustache. Longer story and slightly more elevated than me. I don't. You're using strange words, sir. We were both sitting down. The problem was that there was another group member still around on the couch looking right at us, and the other group member that was with her liked her, already went home. I really wanted to ask her out or kiss her. I knew 100% that she liked me at that moment, yet I did nothing in the fear that other group members would certainly tell the other male that was involved. Okay. Again, is there something wrong with you? Did you follow any of that, Lisa? Because I had a hard
Maybe you
time.
can type the question out for me or repeat the main question.
If I can figure out the main question, I will write it for you, but okay. I've tried. So you want to ask out girls that are out of your league, but you fear rejection, and so you fail to ask them out.
Okay.
And then the only people who you become friends with, you're either not interested in or they're not single, is what it sounds like. Okay, so I think to boil this down, he is afraid of he's too shy to ask out the girls that he really wants, and
Hmm.
the rest of them are single or he's not interested in. Okay, I think
And
that's what.
something about online dating, right?
Oh
That
yeah, he tried
that we
online dating and didn't like it.
okay.
Yeah, he said it was too weird. Well, you're 21 and third year in your university. Um, there's nothing wrong with you about not asking out girls. That's legit. They are terrifying and scary. Don't worry about it. Um, yeah, look at those teeth. They're dangerous. Watch out. Um, what do you do? I, on some level, I want to say just do it and fail miserably and get over your failure. Fail miserably a dozen times, get over it, and then succeed eventually.
Hmm.
Um, but someone earlier in chat said something. What's the quote? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So
Oh.
you gotta, you like the girls, they're out of your league, go for it anyway because maybe they're not out of your league. Maybe you just think they are. I don't know. I'm kind of fumbling this one. Save me.
Hmm.
Save me.
Um, well, I think that it's maybe good to focus on what his your strengths are and maybe if out of your league means that some of those girls are older and smarter than you, or maybe more attractive, or whatever measure that you have, you also have strengths that can balance that out, and you have a lot to offer. And keep trying. I think that Neil's hitting a really good point that if you never try, you'll never know. If you never put yourself out there, then, like there's no one to blame but yourself. But if you try, and every, even every fall, you learn something. So get out there and try to
Yeah.
experience the dating scene, if
Yeah.
that's relating to the question, from what I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah. Don't worry about failing, guys. Once upon a time, I went out on a date with this girl, and it was great. We actually had a really good time. We met down at the beach, Goleta Beach, and like we had a sword fight and a water balloon fight, and everything was going great until mid sword fight. I jumped off of this playground structure, like a kid's playground thing, and landed sideways on my ankle on this step, like that went up to the playground, and twisted slash sprained my ankle so badly that I later that night had to go to the emergency room. But for the rest of the date, I was kind of like hobbling around trying to keep going, and it was embarrassing, and it didn't like it was fun. We had a great time, but it kind of didn't end well, and I couldn't even drive her home because my right foot was too badly screwed up. So she had to end up driving herself home, and then I had to like somehow make it home on my own, and it was embarrassing. And then I had to see her continually afterwards because she was one of my TAs in my ballroom class that I was teaching. Um, and later I tried to follow up with like, "Hey, we should get dinner," and she was kind of like, "Oh, I'm really busy. I'll let you know when we should when." And she never did, and I followed up another time after that. So it's okay to fail. All right, I
Yeah.
have failed miserably in the past. Don't. All right, it's okay. You'll screw yourself up, but you'll be fine. Like you,
It makes
eventually,
the victories that much sweeter.
also, once you have done something really, really embarrassing, like, sprain your ankle on a children's playground while you're supposed to be out on a date, to the point that you have to, like, go to the emergency room, all the others' failures seem so much smaller and the risk seems so much less significant. Like, it gets easy once you fuck up bad enough. So,
Yeah.
go for it, fail, um, and then and then it will be easier to try in the future. So, Just just do it. Just do it, man. And then embrace the embarrassment. Embrace the embarrassment.
I like that.
I don't know.
Thanks for sharing that story, Neil.
Oh man, I there's more details to that story that are make the story even funnier, but I'm not willing to share it publicly right now. You and I could talk about it
Maybe
another time.
next time.
Maybe
Keep
next
listening to the show. Maybe you'll find out.
time. Okay. Next question. I'm 25 and I've had two real relationships in my life. The first lasted for 2 years and ended with her cheating on me. I just had the last one end after 7 years and once again ended because she cheated. How do you go about trusting people or not thinking there's something very wrong with myself? 4 year and 2 year and 7 year relationships both end with her cheating on you. Um, how do you trust people after that, Lisa?
I would say that these are two big learning lessons that are obviously very painful and understandable, that it would be very hard to trust people from now on. But I would say look back and try to understand when your communication failed. And I'm not blame, there's no one to blame. It happened. It's not your fault. It's not her fault. It's kind of,
Well, I mean, it
well,
is
it
somewhat
is
her
her
fault for
fault.
cheating.
Yeah, it is her fault.
Yeah.
But um, yeah, I would maybe think about any time in the future trying to develop skills that promote communication. So So even if it's hard to talk about, you might catch something earlier. Like, for example, even in, the girl might admit, hey, I haven't been feeling attracted to you because you're gaining weight or you're, staying at home and I can tell you're depressed because you don't have a job or whatever. And open up some of those conversations. Maybe there's, there were opportunities where those conversations could have been had or the relationship just wasn't working, and it was hard to recognize.
Yeah. Communication breakdown is a big deal. Like, if you were together with someone for 7 years and it ended only after, if it ended after 7 years with her cheating on you, there were probably issues ahead of time that just were going unaddressed.
Yeah.
Um, and it's identifying those key issues that really kind of that's the hard part. And the key part is to be able
Mhm.
to, you know, how am I trying to say this? Like, she wouldn't have cheated if she was happy in the relationship, which is not your fault for making her unhappy. Like, that's a problem with the relationship. Um, so I think I would say you can trust people. There are a great many of good people out there. I can
Yeah.
vouch for a whole slew of females having never cheated on their guys ever. And I've known girls who, have been dating and then found someone else and like, well, hey, boyfriend, I can't continue this anymore. Like, I have found someone and been honest about that sort of thing. So if you have an open and honest relationship, that's not going to be an issue. So I think when you try again next time, I'm not saying that you had like a closed and dishonest relationship, but I would
Mm.
double down on the communication and on the like being open to talking about everything. And if that's already the situation, if everything was going perfectly and she really just cheated on someone after 7 years, I can't see that happening. So I don't know. That's what I would do. Just double down on the communication because it's
Yeah.
important. It's like the crux of any relationship is good communication.
Yeah. And also, I would be open with this history with any future partners. Tell them honestly, I've had this history. I'm sensitive about this. I just want you to know so that it's part of, that's something to disclose and be open about. And you can work on it together in partnership with someone new who's much more suited for you and much more honest and supportive when you
Yeah.
find her.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Okay, one more. Let's see. Neil, a question for Love Bites. About 2 years ago, while I was in the army, my girlfriend of 4 years broke up with me while 3 months pregnant, and I'm still coming to terms with this. I'm kind of over her, but I'm struggling to get out there and back into the dating world. I recently lost my new girlfriend because I can't trust anyone at the moment. It's been 2 years since I lost the girl I did truly love, and I cannot trust any because of her. Is there any way I can get past this? P.S. I suck at this. So how do you get past a girl who broke up with you while you were, I mean, yeah. Well, we kind of touched on this earlier um, with the whole, you know, either trust issues or not really sure how to meet someone or, you know, trying to, someone said, asked earlier if they're having like trouble putting themselves out there and really opening up to someone. So it sounds like you're having a combination of opening up and trust issues, which are probably stem from the same source. So how do you get over your trust issues in this sort of thing? Just Lisa?
First, stop saying that you suck at this. It's okay that it's been challenging, but if you keep putting blocks up, then they'll continue to manifest and people will continue not to want to meet you and date you. So I would say that it's important to admit, that these things did happen and they've been challenging for you. Um, But yeah, maybe similar advice as before, like start building yourself up in other ways that aren't so focused on this painful theme of relationships. Like start learn a new skill and start a podcast or a video show or learn a new recipe. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's a way to start.
yeah. I mean, I think what we were talking about before helps. Like, start a book club, start a something, get involved, focus on personal experience and personal growth, and then meet someone through there.
Mhm.
If your trouble is, trusting people, you need to kind of some issue, some part. How do I phrase? Half of trust issues comes from yourself. Like if you're having trouble trusting people in dating world, it's probably because you have some self confidence issues at hand. Like that's kind of what's going on. And we all have self confidence issues when it comes to dating. Like it can be frustrating and difficult to trust someone if things have gone awry in the past. We'll save that story for another time. But that should happen. So work on yourself, and as you work on yourself, you'll meet other people, and then you can take it slowly. And as we said before, bring these trust issues into play and be like, hey, this isn't working out. I'm having trouble. Yeah.
I have another kind of perspective to add that trust issues might only manifest with girls or partners that you're interested in romantically, but try to think of all the relationships that you do have a lot of trust in, like your best friend or maybe a parent or a mentor, and focus on why those people, have your trust and why you feel open to talk to them and to you have a trusting relationship with those people. And I would say try to bring some of those qualities into your romantic relationships. So learn from what you already are doing. You are living in trusting relationships and yeah, build off of what you can already do.
Okay. I think this is going to be our last question. There was this buddy of mine in high school. He knew a bunch of girls while he was never while he was never aware that I was in search for a lover. I kept seeing him say hi to one every 5 minutes while we were walking with him on the street. He has a girlfriend. He knew I was desperate, and I always asked him to meet me up with one of them. He would be a very good friend in any other case, but when it comes to hookups, he outright refused all the time. He even was totally okay giving advice on love stuff of any kind other than hookups. I personally think of him as the biggest dick ever, but do you have an explanation for him or for anyone that matter not wanting to be a wingman? P.S. You don't have to read after this since it's not relevant. I'm just going to say I'm still alone and I blame it on him. Whoa, okay, so your friend is good with girls and girls like him, and you're asking him to have them, like, introduce you to one of them so you can hook up with one of them. And he's like, whoa, I don't want to introduce you to anyone. And so you're blaming your aloneness on your friend not willing to help you hook up with his female friends? And you're calling him a dick? I think you need to look at yourself, buddy. Maybe uh, there's some interesting grammar choices here. So maybe English is your second language. Maybe you don't mean hook up in the way that we would use the word hook up. Uh, but it sounds like you're blaming someone else for something that's your own damn fault. Like if he's got female friends, that's fine, but it's not his obligation to hook you up with them. And if he's uncomfortable being a wingman, that's fine. He doesn't have to be your wingman. That's not his job. Like, don't blame other people. You're responsible for your life.
I completely agree. I think that sometimes it's easier to look outside of ourselves and blame, other people and situations in the past. But really, we're the ones creating our reality. I'm the one that's responsible for myself and what happens to me. So Yeah, remember that no one else is responsible for you, not your mom, not your best friend, not this random friend of yours. It's okay to be envious that he has such good luck and good skills with women. That's totally okay, but not to blame him. He's his own person, and so are you. And you can absolutely meet girls in the same way if you start taking responsibility.
Yeah, it's it's your job, dude, not his. And also, what was the exact question here? Is there any explanation for why he's being such a dick? Is that what you said? Um, Chill out, dude. This is your fault. This is your problem. Do not like if you're looking for sympathy here, you're not going to get it. Like you're being a dick, and that's probably why you're single and alone. Is because you're like, hey, my friend's not helping me hook up with girls. He's an asshole. What do I do? No, like no one likes that guy. Don't be that guy. You don't have to be that guy. You can be.
Maybe he's trying to give you some opportunities to learn. You know, he wants you to grow. He probably cares about you and wants you to be with
You
other
are such
girls,
a nice person, Lisa.
but
You are way too nice to
just
this
hand
guy.
him.
You are way too nice to this
Well,
guy.
I feel like he obviously wants to be with someone, and everyone deserves love. And and yeah, I think that maybe this friend of yours doesn't have bad intentions. He's not trying to keep you away from this heavenly place where women want to hook up with you, but he wants
Yeah.
you to learn how to like walk there yourself, stretch your legs out, do your thing.
All right. Well, that is all that we have for Love
Thank you
Bites this
so
week.
much.
That's all we
That
have
was
going
a ton of
on.
fun.
Yeah. Any shout outs you want to say? Any
Thanks, Neil.
last words?
I had a great time. I hope some of my thoughts and advice can help people out there. I'm not an expert. I just have a few ideas based on my experiences, and I wish everyone the best in all of their love endeavors.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching Love Bites. We're done. If you want to stick around, I'm going to be playing some video games and streaming Skyrim in a bit, so stick around for that. Other than if you're not sticking around, we'll see you in 2 weeks for the next episode of Love Bites. And you can of course check out all the previous Love Bite episodes on youtube.com/koiba0. See you guys then. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.